Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101. I'm your host, David Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org. And if you're overseas and on the move, US listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, were the COVID restrictions relaxed too early or too much? In the second watch, the pending toll increase causes, challenges, and consequences. For our social media question, we ask, what are your thoughts on the relaxing of the COVID restrictions and the pending toll increase? Please share your responses on our Facebook page, Love 101 FM, and also on WhatsApp, 876-997-3125, using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program. But before all of that, here's I quote.
This morning's I quote. Success usually comes to those who are too busy looking for it. Henry David.
An interesting quote, eh?
Quite interesting.
Yeah, Shavani.
Good morning,
Shavani. How are you?
I am good. Let me turn this on so you can see me.
There you are. How are you doing? You can't hide again, eh?
No. How are you? Good to see you.
I was wondering. Yes, good to see and to hear you at the same time.
I know.
Yes, I was wondering, Shavani, if the toll charges were based on the cost of vehicles, how would you manage with your Benz?
Rev, let's take a break.
The first watch will be back after this break.
Me a forward! Is where you going? What you mean? Me get my vaccine so me can touch the road now. Touch road? You know your ears hard. The health people said this is only the first dose and we need 2 doses to be fully protected. Eh? What you mean? What me mean? We're waiting for the second dose, Mr. Sir. So you try turn your yard and go and follow the protocols. Wear your mask, wash your hand, and keep your distance from other people. Get vaccinated, get back to life. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Full of flavor, no if or no maybe. Malta, my crave on a daily. I couldn't ask for a better cold glass. Coffee can't pass on this. My Malta, my pocket with me. You know me got it with me. I feel have a back for myself. Yesterday the shop locked, so today me come back. 2 new flavors on the shelf. Me say me see it and me grab it and me love it and buy it. My mama take it and she pull it and try it. She say Malta in the morning, afternoon or night. And she finish it, she don't need no help. Coffee or vanilla, the Jamaican original. Have it with my lunch or my dinner. Ginseng with the ginger, make you settle and you simmer. Good for the baller and the singer. Make you feel good and it tastes real nice. Better when cool, so we put it on ice. Take a sip once, if you take a sip twice. Mother full of flavor for life. Mother full of flavor for life.
I always do my best to stay in control of my expenses. So with Flow, I added my mobile to my home internet service and elevated my savings. I get 50% off my mobile plan each month. Yeah man, I get a simple, predictable mobile bill of $1,600 plus GCT and never signed a contract nor made a deposit. And you can get this too. Add your mobile to your Flow home internet for elevated savings of 50% off your mobile plan each month. Visit the Flow store or discoverflow.co to sign up today.
This is the soothing sound of your finances being handled by Grace Kennedy Financial Group. And this? It's actually the relaxing noise of your car and home insurance, handled by experts you can trust. Trust Grace Kennedy Financial Group to do your banking, insurance, investments, money services, and more gracefully. Get to know us at gracekennedyfinancialgroup.com.
Make I tell you about short-term motor insurance from JNGI. You choose what you need, 30, 60, 90 days policy. No long commitment, full third party. Don't park your car, don't walk, get a shorty. So affordable and it's not Coronation Market. JNGI shorty. Country party, we have a shorty. Just insure your vehicle and start it. Roll out with a shorty. Shorty, the short-term motor insurance from JN General Insurance. Available only online.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Well, the Prime Minister announced recently that the entertainment and creative industries will be given breathing space to reopen. And a loud sigh was heard all over the island. But was that a sigh of relief or a gasp of disbelief? Especially with the Gleaner headline the following day, which stated, "Party time." All this leads us to a very pertinent and important question. Were the COVID restrictions relaxed too much or too early? Well, to answer these and other related questions, we have online Dr. Garth Rattray, family doctor, and Mr. Michael Leckie, president of the Small Business Association of Jamaica. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, Dr. Rattray, and to your listeners, sir.
Good to have you both with us. Well, gentlemen, assuming that you saw it, what were your initial thoughts on the fact that last week the Gleaner chose the headline, "Party Time," in reference to the relaxed restriction? Beginning with you, Mr. Leckie.
I saw the headlines,
Yes.
and the Gleaner has been wrong before. So we will start off there, because my membership and, and what we are saying is that we welcome this move. It is a very good move, and it's a very good stroke to the boundary, 6 runs, because we have been languishing for more than a year, and we are getting piecemeal in terms of the freeing up of the space and the time for our membership, because there have been a number of closures and downsizing, and it's been a heartbreak for the entrepreneurship persons in Jamaica, especially the small and the micro businesses. It's been real hard on us. So I welcome this move by the Prime Minister on July 1st.
And you agree with the party time headline? You don't agree with it?
It's maybe a typo, so we should say relaxation should be it.
All right, Dr. Rattray, what's your take on that?
Well, I heard about the headline, and I'm not sure if they meant that people will interpret it as party time.
Yes.
The government is saying it's party time. I think it's the former one. I think people might say, okay, it's time to party now, which of course is not correct.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, there are those who wonder, though, why the government did not wait until July 1 as the date to enact all these new measures, rather than have some of them enacted on June 24. What say you on the matter, Mr. Leckie?
I'm not sure the thinking of the government, but what it does, it causes us now to plan ahead and put everything in place so we can meet that time. Let me give that background and for your listeners and yourself, Dr. Rattray, is that we have 425,000 MSMEs there in Jamaica. And think about it. What is happening to all of those in the space? What is happening to us? So we are welcoming it. And if you notice also that we as a group sector, we have been contributing a wide and a vast amount of money to the GDP. So we are causing Jamaica to be kept afloat, and we can actually manage our debt. Because a number of persons have been wondering what is going on, but it's piecemeal, as I said, but I do not mind how the government is approaching it, because it's in pieces, so we can actually make our adjustment. All they have to do now is enforcement on their side. That's all we are asking for.
You're calling it piecemeal, Mr. Leckie?
Yes. Why? Because we have been calling for a full openness of our economy for a while back, and we've been getting pieces in drops. But we still welcome it. We are not vexed at what is happening. We are welcoming, so we can plan ahead for July 1st rather.
Dr. Ratri?
Well, sir, honestly, my view is that we have nothing against industry opening up, entertainment industry or anything, but the timing has to be right, and also the preparation. It was not prepared for properly, and the timing is awful. No, it wasn't. And
why do you say so? Why do you say so, doctor?
Well, sir, first of all, the WHO says that before you even consider doing this, your positivity rate must be below 5%. It was 9 point something yesterday, for instance, and it's never been to 5% recently. So I must be there for at least 2 weeks consistently. And they said, if you don't do that, you're courting disaster. They also said that if you are considering opening up travel, it should be below, not only below, but way down. They're going to revise the figure below 5% as a cutoff point. So we have actually breached WHO guidelines for this thing. And what I'm saying is that, sure, we want to open up, but the government didn't do enough to prepare for it. I've always said, in the same way they approach elections, they should approach trying to cut down morbidity and mortality. They have not done that. They're putting mostly, what they call it, personal responsibility. That's a farce. We know how it is in most countries, especially this country. They should have done more to bring it. And once they brought it down to below 5%, then they could have done what they are doing now. So we are actually in breach, and we are quoting disaster. And don't forget, what's coming probably soon, because up to England also, is a Delta and Delta Plus strains, and that will be that. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to even think about what's going to happen or what is likely to happen. Rather, that is scary for me. So yes, I'm opening up, but not this way. In the same way, Shelley-Ann couldn't have gone to the Olympics 4 months ago. She wasn't prepared for it. Point, right? Not prepared for it, she can go. So preparation is important, and timing is everything.
What would you say, though, Dr. Ratchet, to those who are saying that the reputation, integrity of WHO has been tarnished in regards to what transpired even last year in some of the dictates that they made, some of the suggestions that they gave to the world, that they were behind the eighth ball in many ways? What say you?
Yeah, so WHO really embarrassed themselves. And I could go on to other examples, but it's not relevant here. But the thing about the 5% is not confined to their opinion. This is experts outside of WHO. This is a pandemic. It's a serious thing, as you know, and it may get worse because these new strains are even worse. So when it comes to this part of it, I'll have to agree with it. WHO has been breaching other things in Jamaica, by the way, which I don't want to go into. But the fact of the matter is that this is important. We have to follow the rules when it comes to pandemics. And I agree we need to open up, but they should have done more to make it possible to open up even earlier. So I agree with Mr. Leckie, but not this way. And I blame the government fully for not doing enough preparation for this.
Mr. Leckie, your response?
What I am from where I sit, the government has to do its part, and I said earlier, compliance is one of the greatest things that we need. And they now have to show that there's no double standard. As you might hear in the news about a particular place in Negril where they did their thing, and what is happening when it was shut down or when it came to light of what happened, then what you have is a number of persons who did the same thing and they ran into trouble. And now what you're looking at is they've been prosecuted. I don't want to call names, rather.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Leckie. We are going to take a break. Hold that thought. We'll be right back.
Phoenix Health and Vision Center, 65 Main Street, St. Anne's Bay, near the St. Anne's Bay Health Center. The only full care eye service center in St. Anne.
The time by
Phoenix Health and Vision Center
is 7:16 on the Sound of Love 101.
Bashko time. All the things that you need for your home and prices so low, you will never need a loan at Bashko. At Bashko. Appliances, house with furniture and rugs, east side linens and glass and mugs at Bashko. You're shopping at Bashko. Whether the north or so in the east and the west, Bashko them all over. They must be the best at Bashko. At Bashko. You're shopping at Bashko. At Bashko. Giving you more.
I just want to sleep, but it's cold won't let me.
When cold symptoms rob you of your sleep, switch back to a good night with Painol. Painol, the cost-effective cough and cold reliever that helps you get a good night's sleep. Switch back with Painol, cough and cold from Lascom Pharmaceuticals.
Hello, Aunt Dar.
Morning, Keisha. I want to ask you something. You know, me did always get the part. Like how they did sign me up for the new social pension program. You think me going to get anything for the June month?
Yes, Auntie. The part office say that all the part and poor relief elderly that transfer to the new program go and still get them part payment for June.
True?
True.
That's so good. So when the part going ready?
Payment going run from June 15 to 2nd of July. Them going pay out by name as usual, and everybody must collect same place where them did collect last time.
All right. Thank you, my darling.
PATH and Poor Relief beneficiaries, if you are 75 years or older and have been transferred to the new social pension program, you will still receive payment from PATH in June. Be sure to collect it. Check the Friday Star to find out your date. For more information, call PATH at 876-922-8007. PATH, advancing your family, developing Jamaica. A message from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Have Asian religions and associated rituals influenced Christianity? Do Christians unknowingly partake in some of the rites, rituals, and celebrations of Shintoism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Sikhism, and Jainism? Could Christianity actually benefit from some of the rituals, rites, beliefs, and practices of Eastern religions? Tune in to The Rock this Tuesday, June 29 at 10 a.m. with host Pastor Hero Steve Blair and guests Reverend Donald Stewart and Pastor Christopher Kennedy as they discuss the topic Eastern religions, rituals, and Christianity. The Rock, this and every Tuesday at 10 a.m. found right here on Love 101 FM, the family station.
If you're a farmer or a fisher folk, this one's for you. Sagicor AgriCare Plan. With AgriCare Plan, you can get affordable insurance coverage for you and your family. Life insurance, critical illness coverage, and health insurance for as little as $3,900 every 3 months. Visit your nearest RADA or fisheries office or text AgriCare to 876-322-2384 to apply. Farmers and fisher folk, get the insurance coverage your family deserves today with Sagicor AgriCare Plan.
Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Well, we are discussing in this, the first watch, were the COVID restrictions relaxed too much or too early? And we have online Dr. Garth Rattray, family doctor, and Mr. Michael Leckie, president of the Small Business Association of Jamaica. Mr. Leckie, before the break, you were telling us about your views in regards to the timing of the government.
Yes, you can see where the government, as I made reference to Negril and some places in Kingston, that the government can do the policing and can make sure that things have to be in place for it to get to July 1st. For instance, Dr. Rattray can help you with this. Before we reach there, the government has done a number of parish lockdowns, in segments, doing a number of testing, see where it is, see where they are in different places. And then we got down to the level that is deemed to be, we are a comfortable state. So now the government can now push to the other level for January 1st. As long as the policing and the compliance is there, we will be able to manage properly. That's all I'm saying. But I still welcome the July 1st, and because of those indicators, why I believe that the government is making the other step, and that is where I see it.
Interesting. Dr. Rattray, what would you have preferred the government to have done? What is your preference?
Well, they should have had, which I've been begging for, what I call COVID marshals. We need, I don't know how many. I volunteer, people volunteer. I go everywhere. I thought I go, people are not wearing masks. And did you know, by the way, if 8 out of 10 people wear masks, you would never do a lockdown. Lockdown wouldn't be necessary. Did you know that? Just 8 or 10 people wear masks regularly, we would never need a lockdown. It's that effective, but it's not happening. Okay, what's done is done. Now we're going to open up more on July 1st. Now it's not too late, I think, although so far, to get people to go, what they call prevention, not just to go look after it happened already and we're going to check it out now and prosecute people, to go around to places to check. If masks are in here, are you having compliance? I don't prefer the word adherence, and you know why, right? Because compliance means to obey just mindlessly. Adhere means that you want to do. They need more public awareness. They need to have these COVID marshals going around, especially now for events, before the event, check it out, and attending events to see what's going on so that they don't breach. You don't want to breach and prosecute. You want to prevent breaches. And I don't think it's too late, but sir, to be frank with you, I don't think it's going to happen. I think we put the cart before the horse and crossing our fingers, and I'm very worried about it.
So what about the numbers, Dr. Rattray? Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Leckie. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, I agree with Dr. Rattray, because I remember first when we had this interview early in the pandemic, and I had said, similar to how they got the dengue driver, as Dr. Rattray described them as marshals, I'm saying the similar type of getting into the space, move people in, allow people to be sensitized, continually making sure that you have these tone criers, have people on their toes at all times. Look what Jamaicans are about. They are about, tell it to me all the time, give it to me, spread the news, and then it clicks in. And I agree with Dr. Rattray. Just keep that public relations and keep that word out at all times.
Dr. Rattray, what about numbers? We see numbers branded about 100 people in terms of capacity of a building, 70%. What's your take on that?
The numbers are okay, as long as they're adhered. Yes, as long as they're adhered to. As long as they're, that's the problem in it. Not the numbers. Is are they going to adhere to the numbers? And that's where you need to have monitoring, proper monitoring. But not the numbers are okay. We know that. Even schools could be open fully, as long as they keep a certain distance and they keep adhering to the proper protocols. And if you do that, you can bring down your morbidity and mortality to points where the country will appear open. I know it can backfire on us, because if we were to skyrocket again, we get blacklisted. So you open your border, they say, oh, don't go to Jamaica. They are in this red zone kind of thing. So we have to be very careful, and we are not being careful enough. I don't see it happening, and we need to start doing it right away.
So if you're okay with the numbers, Dr. Rattray, just for my clarification, what's the essence of your, want a better word, opposition to the measures? What's the essence of it? If you're okay with the numbers, is the timing that your thing is?
Yeah, well, put this way, these are something new, the numbers, this is something new now. They're going to open up with these numbers before they get the thing down below 5%. That's the thing, If it were below 5%, they could open up with these numbers, but they have not got below 5%. So Go ahead.
Oh, so you are saying it's impingent on the WHO recommendations with that 5%?
Yes.
Or however long that takes to be achieved.
Well, yes, but I'm a scientist, I just into facts. It happened already. They have decided to open up. Okay, it happened already. Now let's try to at least ameliorate it by getting the proper adherence so that they can reduce the impact of opening it up too soon according to the guidelines.
Mr. Leckie, any concern with numbers on your part?
That part of it, I see a challenge, but there has to be some guidelines issued by the government, and I continue to say the guidelines has to be there and put in place. So when we're open up, we know that we have to follow these guidelines. That's all. The numbers, yes, but I know it can be managed based on what we have our booklet, and we work with a booklet, and we have all the persons in place to make sure a number of persons have been compliant. And I'm good with it. Just issue the policy. Let us move in that direction. That's all I'm saying. Outside of that, like where the problems are.
Dr. Ratchie, earlier you mentioned about the variants and Delta and Delta Plus.
Yes.
Can you explain for our listeners what is that all about?
Well, the longer a virus is in a population, it will mutate. Starts off by making mistakes, but then it becomes a good mutation for the virus because they get more virulent. And so this Delta one is more virulent than what we have now. They get it easier and it causes more deaths than what we have now, yes. And Delta Plus is right behind it, which is supposed to have a more long affinity. So, honestly, I got vaccinated and I'm thinking to myself, yes, it will give us some protection, but we don't know as yet exactly how much. We're hearing some figure that don't sound too good. Don't sound too good out there.
What figures you hearing? You hearing?
Basically, that the vaccine isn't able to give us the kind of protection against Delta and Delta Plus as we had hoped it could. Right? What? Because it's a variant. It's not the same thing. They get immunized against. It's not quite the same thing. Same thing with dengue. Dengue, you take the flu too. You take the flu this year, a different vaccine next year. That's what I mean, right? So the mainstay of this thing is to prevent it. Honestly, I mean, if you had no vaccine, no medication, no hospitals, seriously, people don't seem to understand. To fight this pandemic is prevention. Back in the last century when I had it, there had no vaccines. Prevention is key. Yeah, masking up, distance, but people just not listening. That's the problem. And the government not doing enough to get it done. That's the main thing we need to do.
So we might have to get vaccinated yearly.
Yes, well, I said that. Yes, I said that a long time. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, that is a booster. That is something I'm talking about from long time.
Mr. Leckie, your organization, what has been done or what is being done to ensure that the protocols are adhered to and the restrictions are obeyed?
Okay. That is what, since the government has announced it, we have sent out a number of alerts to our membership and to small business owners. So they must take care. They must know what is happening. But what is missing, and Dr. Roger alluded to it, is the educational drive. What we just heard, we have not been hearing it. And that is the problem. And I've always said to my membership, Dr. Ratchie, guide me here if I'm doing wrong. I said, we have to now learn to live with COVID.
Yes,
we have to now learn to live with COVID. Be aware that it is here. Know what you need to do. Adhere to all of the protocols. And we can get through. But if we are just going as if there's nothing that is existing, and we are willy-nilly carrying on, then we will have the problem. The educational drive must be ramped up. I was going to repeat what Dr. Ratcher said this evening. That's something new. That means that we have to keep getting booster shots and so on in order to feel fully vaccinated and be comfortable that we are moving around.
Okay. Believe it or not, we have to leave it there, gentlemen. I want to thank you both for joining us this morning on a very informative discussion. Have a productive day and stay safe.
You too, sir. Okay, Mr. Leckie.
Okay.
Listeners, the Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
Auto Loan, helping you on your journey. Roll out and make a statement in your brand new vehicle.
The time by JN will help you find a way is
7:31 on the Sound of Love.
Phoenix Health and Vision Center now has 2 locations. St. Anne's Bay, 65 Main Street beside the Health Center. And now Shop 30 Champion Plaza, Falmouth, Trelawney. You heard me right. Shop 30 Champion Plaza, Falmouth, Trelawney. The only full-service eye care center for all your designer frames and designer glasses. Complete eye care. Book all your appointments now in St. Anne's Bay. Call 876-972-2388. 876-589-8327. For Falmouth and its environs, call this number 876-533-0540. Looking forward to seeing you at both locations. Phoenix Health and Vision Center. Now at Champion Plaza, Falmouth, Trelawney.
NIS pensioners, avoid the wait. Get your NIS pension straight to your bank account. It's easy. Simply visit the Ministry of Labour and Social Security's website, mlss.gov.jm, or the nearest NIS office and collect the direct deposit application form. Then complete the form and submit it along with supporting documents to the NIS office nearest you. Avoid crowds and long lines. Get your money when you want it. The National Insurance Scheme, always working for you.
Does this sound remind you of car insurance? Or does this sound remind you of getting a loan for your small business? What about this? Does this remind you of paying your bills online? Trust Grace Kennedy Financial Group to do your banking, insurance, investments, money services, and more gracefully. Get to know us at gracekennedyfinancialgroup.com.
Digicel Plus LTE Home Service brings super fast internet to more people in more places. That's simply more speed for your entire family to stream, download, and stay connected in real time. Enjoy better coverage, reliable speeds, and more value. To find out if super fast Digicel Plus LTE Home is in your area, call 888-935-5050 or 145 from a Digicel number, or look out for a Digicel Plus agent in your community. Digicel Plus, Jamaica's fastest internet provider.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's take a look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. In the Gleaner, Tufton on the doctor's knife. High-level talks today as physicians sick of short-term contracts. An interesting headline there. And then Zoso, gunman, Exodus blamed for Johns Hall crime spree. And then we see also that Home Sweet Home. Expat says dream of quiet return ruined by highway development. In the Observer, Wholeness moves to allay fears of Bernard Lodge farmers. And also we see here, blame the parents. Prosecutor says adults should take responsibility for child-on-child sex offenses. And a final headline here, Miss Nevada, USA title won by transgender woman for the first time. Well, those are some of the major headlines in our newspapers. Coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our social media question. What are your thoughts on the relaxing of the COVID restrictions and the pending toll increase? We're going to ask you to leave a comment on our Facebook page, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. We'll be right back.
Have some issues and concerns in your community that you wish could be attended to now? Want a platform to voice those concerns? This could be the place for you. Send your 30-second voice notes describing your issue to 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. Be sure to type a voice for hope before sending the voice note. Then listen on Tuesday at 9:45 a.m. for a voice for hope. Share the concerns you have seen. You know that street light that has not been working for a long time, or your community has not had water for 2 weeks now? Yes, here is somewhere you can share it. And maybe, just maybe, we can get some love on your situation. Remember now, send a 30-second voice note describing your issue and type a voice for hope before sending your voice note to 876-997-3125. A voice for hope. It's a problem, and we need a solution now. Love 101 FM, the family station, bringing a voice to your situation.
Eat what you grow what you eat.
Home of the largest agricultural show in Jamaica for over 60 years. Clarendon, you're up next. Be sure to stay tuned daily for our special interviews and features with guests who are Clarendonians. Tune in this Tuesday, June 29 at 5:30 p.m. for From the Farmer's Mouth and hear from 26-year-old Matthew Jones, who will talk about his youthful journey in agriculture. We'll be talking all things sweet potato, okra, hot pepper production, and it will be coming straight from a Clarendon farmer's mouth this Tuesday, June 29 at 5:30 p.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
13 weeks, tell a neighbor, your friend, the story comes straight from the farmers.
This is Hurricane Alert, a bulletin of hurricane preparedness tips presented by Love 101 FM. Here are some instructions to follow for the start of the hurricane season. Make a thorough check of hurricane shutters, hooks, and latches, and repair where necessary. See that galvanized sheeting on the roof of your house is properly fastened. Keep on hand nails, hammers, wire, rope, and pliers. Stock up on plastic bags and sheets of plastic. Plastic is essential to prevent important documents, paintings, equipment, and furniture from getting wet. Keep handy a supply of lumber, plywood, timber, etc. for battening down purposes. You've just heard Hurricane Alert, a bulletin of hurricane preparedness tips brought to you by Love 101 FM. Keep listening to Love 101 FM for more helpful tips when next we present Hurricane Alert.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Well, let's join Siobhan for a look at how our Facebook and WhatsApp friends answered today's question. What are your thoughts on the relaxation of the COVID restrictions and the pending toll increase? Siobhan.
All right. So Barbara from Falmouth says too early because we're too indisciplined. Yes. Detta from St. James says the measures were relaxed too early. Most Jamaicans don't know how to obey rules, and we don't have enough officers to man all the events that will take place. She says, God forbid, what will happen if the Delta variant reaches our shores? And with all of this, I doubt we'll be able to head back to the classrooms come September. She says, for the toll increase, it's unfair this time. This one says, in terms of relaxing of the protocols, I think we have to start somewhere. If it becomes overwhelming, we replace the measures. Everyone has a responsibility. We must adhere to protocols. I think, it's too much is going on and we can't please everyone. As she adds, in terms of the increase in toll rates, the government cannot unilaterally change the contract, which was entered into many years prior. But I think some negotiations need to be done about it. The increases are unbearable. Let me see what this one is saying now. Jamaicans are like children. We hardly ever observe protocols. And our behavior is worse when it comes, to protocols being relaxed. As always, cases are going to spike, and government will have to go back to the early curfew times, and then we're all going to complain about it as if we didn't contribute to the spike in the first place. Really good point there. And the final one, this says, if the PM is not able to influence his constituents to wear masks, etc., going through parts of it, I don't see it in practice, then how can he comfortably relax measures plus the Delta strains in countries we are counting on? Is that what you're saying? Okay. You know what you're saying there. Let me see what this one is saying now. Okay, well, keep the conversation going.
Jamaicans are like children.
They're like children.
Okay. Thank you, listeners, for the responses. Thank you, Shavani, for reading them. Okay, we now transition into the second watch. And, another increase. Another increase. Not even a year has passed and the toll rates are set to go up. How is this being viewed by those who use the toll roads? Are the rates really going up? What are the challenges on both sides and what consequences can we expect? Well, to address these and other expected or related concerns, we have joining us online Mayor Norman Scott, the Mayor of Spanish Town, and Mr. Trevor Samuels, past president and PRO of the National Consumers League. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, how are you this morning?
I am well, and you?
So far so good, sir.
Great. That's Mr.
Agree with me that Jamaican grown-ups are like children. They don't be rude at all.
You sent in that one, Mr. Samuels?
Pardon me?
You sent in that comment?
I didn't make that comment, so I heard you. I do agree with you. Sometimes adults don't obey rules in Jamaica.
Oh boy. Is Mayor Scott with us?
No, we're still trying to get the mayor. He's not on.
All right, Mayor's not on as yet. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Samuels, thanks for joining us. Yes. What are your initial responses to the pen toll increase?
The toll increase. That's what we're talking about.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. Well, naturally, we are getting increases all over, from everything from food to fuel to everything else. And now this one is one of the later ones to hit us, and I don't think it's going to be the end of it all. But we had just recently, less than a year ago, we had an increase on that toll, on that highway. Mm-hmm. And to be hit with another one so soon after that, it's really pushing further pressure on the consumers of that service. Mm-hmm. Because when you look at it, the cheapest increase is going to be putting over $20 on the Spanish Town, the Portmore Toll Road. Yes. That's a $30 increase, which recently it got a $30 increase before. So within a year, it's probably going to be an increase of over $60. For Class 1, when you get at the Vineyards Toll Road, I am just trying to get used to the present rate, because I use the road fairly frequently. And that's going to be a $40 increase. And on the Spanish Town, getting into Spanish Town by that Old Harbor roundabout, it's a $20 and a $30. So therefore, the increase is there. And when you look at, that's a one-side journey. When you look at the return trip, you have to double that amount. So therefore, if you have to increase your budget in order to go through the toll. So if you're going to budget so much, then you have to add that amount to compensate for the toll that you'll have to pay on both sides.
Yes.
So it is for Class 1, which is, I think, is the biggest of the class, because most people will drive a Class 1 vehicle, because that includes cars and small pickups and small SUVs.
Yeah.
When you get to Class 2, it is even more. The biggest increase there on the vineyard store is $60. It says it is now $750
Tell you what.
to go up to $810.
Tell you what, Mr. Samuels. So Samuels,
Right.
could you hold that thought, please? We're onto our break. We'll be right back.
Certainly.
This is Love 101 at 7:45.
Many of our brothers and sisters lose hope when diagnosed with HIV. Some lose their will to continue being a part of society. Others are despaired by the challenges of keeping up with their treatment. We understand. But remember, people with HIV live normal and progressive lives every day. You can too if you get back on track with your HIV treatment. Live for you, live for someone, live for something.
Get back on track, get back to life.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
I always do my best to stay in control of my expenses. So with Flow, I added my mobile to my home internet service and elevated my savings. I get 50% off my mobile plan each month. Yeah, man, I get a simple, predictable mobile bill of $1,600 plus GCT and never signed a contract nor made a deposit. And you can get this too. Add your mobile to your Flow home internet for elevated savings of 50% off your mobile plan each month. Visit the Flow store or discoverflow.co to sign up today.
Colgate Triple Action. 3 benefits for a deep clean. As a mother, you always want to give the best to your family and to make them happy. With Colgate Triple Action, you give them 3 reasons to smile. Cavity protection, whiter teeth, and fresh breath. A unique formula with a minty flavor they will love. Colgate Triple Action. Find it at your favorite store.
Highway 2000 East-West wishes to advise the public that they have had to adjust the current toll rate structure on all legs of the East-West Highway for 2021. This becomes effective on Saturday, July 3, and is as follows. Class 1 rates will become $550 at Vineyards, $210 at Spanish Town, $290 at Portmore, and $150 at Maypen. Class 2 rates will become $810 at Vineyards, $320 at Spanish Town, $470 at Portmore, and $250 at Maypen. Class 3 rates will become $1,510 at Vineyards, $590 at Spanish Town, $870 at Portmore, and $500 at Maypen. Highway 2000 East-West thanks all customers for their support as they continue working to provide world-class service.
Bills to pay and funds to transfer? No problem. I do it all on my time with JN Bank Live Online Banking. It's my simple and secure as that online banking.
Phone credit need a top up? No problem. I do it with JN Bank Live Online Banking.
It's quick and easy with just a few clicks. JN Bank Live, online banking that goes where you go. Sign up today. Visit jnbank.com. JN Bank, we'll help you find a way.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. In this, the second watch, we are discussing the pending toll increase, looking on the challenges and the consequences. And we have online Mr. Trevor Samuels, past president and PRO of the National Consumers League. Mr. Samuels, before the break, you were telling your interests and concerns about the costs.
Yes, I think the address gave you the cost, of all of
Yes,
right.
Right.
But my concern for the first thing now is the class 3, because that is where you have the trucks and the buses that are the commercial vehicles. And a return journey from, say, Manchester or St. Elizabeth or those places will add $340 to the regular travel. Now, who is going to pay that? Somewhere along the line, it is going to be passed to the consumer. The consumers of food, the consumers of building materials, which is going to and fro. Everything is going to, be impacted by that price increase. Because if you have to go to Manchester or St. Elizabeth, you have to use the Vineyards and the Maypen toll. And all of these things will add up to a return journey of $340. Now, who's going to pay that? Naturally, all this is going to be filtered through the system down to the final consumer. So you might have to pay a little bit more for a bag of cement or a piece of lumber or a piece of yellow yam or whatever it is that comes through those systems. So wherever you take it, it is going to be impacted on the consumer someplace or other. But then what we are concerned about, is the rapid rate of increase, because this is less than a year ago that these rates were set.
Yeah, I'm happy you're going there.
Rate they can charge, and they're just using that because that is not what they can charge. But then it is still have an effect upon the use of the road and the final price to the consumer's pocket.
I'm happy you have gone there again, Mr. Samuels, because there are those who may argue that at least the Trans-Jamaican Highway may argue that the last increase was actually postponed July 2020 to September 2020.
Right.
And that is why it seems as if it just a couple months ago, but really and truly out of compassion, they had postponed it. What say you?
Okay, fine, we appreciate that. But then, putting the two of them so close to each other, it looks as if the postponement, has lost its effect in that respect. But when you look at it on the other hand, though, are we, better off using the old road than the toll road? Because when you look at it, the price of gas has also gone up. So anyway you take it,
traffic
the customer is going to get hit.
And traffic, no, Mr. Samuels, traffic. Yes. Because persons who are now going to come off the toll road are going to now back up the traffic even more on the old roads.
Through Ulu Harbor and Freetown and those places.
Can you imagine?
Yes. So therefore, I'm wondering now, though, although the price of the toll is going to be increased, we are caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, as they say. Because if you take the old road, it's going to take you more time, and you're going to burn the fuel, which you would save on the toll.
Yeah.
You're going to use more wear and tear on your vehicle, and you're going to
use a
lot of time. So what the toll people should do, and I'm glad now they are just coming in to notice that, is to increase the traffic on the toll so that you go for volume rather than for price increase for the same people all the time. And I hear, just yesterday I heard that they are now looking at increasing the traffic on the toll by putting new entrance points and exit points and all that. But that should have been done long time because somebody who used that road myself. Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Samuels.
Had noticed that a long time ago. I noticed that they closed off one of these entrance points near to not Freetown, to that road that had the old road coming onto it before the highway was completed. And they closed it off. What I said was that why did they close this off when at least they could catch one-way traffic through the toll and increase the volume rather than trying to increase the price? Because I've traveled on the road very often, and I am probably on the Bustamante Highway in heavy traffic. And by the time I get to the toll road, most of the traffic turns on the old road rather than continuing the toll. It means that something must be wrong.
Yes, let's bring in that voice that you're hearing. Is it Mayor Scott?
Hi, morning. Yes, it is.
Yes, morning, Mayor. Thanks for joining us. Over the past weeks, you have been pretty vocal matter. What say you on Love FM?
Repeat that for me.
No, I'm saying you have been vocal over the past weeks on the matter of the toll increase. What say you on Love FM?
Okay. Let me thank you for inviting me on the station.
Yes.
And let me say good morning to your listeners and to your other participants. I'm really very disturbed and concerned as to the discussion regarding an increase in the toll fees at this time.
Yes.
At a time when the people of Jamaica are really, really suffering from daily price increases as a result of the pandemic, and food prices are going up every day, gas prices going up every week, and to hear that the government is allowing or even entertaining a discussion for a toll increase is really ridiculous, and so I'm saying that ought not to be even considered at this time. Instead, what should be happening is that the powers that be should be meeting with the operators of the toll, which is the companies from overseas that have invested in the roads, and ask of them to defer the increases at this time, and even to increase the time factor in which they were allowed to operate and to recoup their investment, so that they would have a longer time. And so,
but their contract is annual, Mr. Mayor Scott, as you know. An annual thing.
But
yeah,
I am aware that there is a contract where it was in it, they are allowed to have or to discuss twice yearly rates. And I'm saying, but it is the government that had this contract, and it is the same government that can renegotiate or rediscuss this thing, because the people of this country are suffering, and that is why you have a government that runs the country to see to the best interests of the people of the country.
On the other end of the spectrum, Mayor, Trans Jamaica Highway Limited reportedly had a near 15% plunge in revenue last year, amounting to a loss of $8 million reportedly. What's your take on that? Because they are saying that they have lost so much money, and they have also compassionately waited until September last year to have the increase.
And I'm saying everywhere in the world, companies are facing losses because of this pandemic. It is not because of people are not using the road anymore. It is because of what happened globally. So therein it lies a valid discussion. So I'm saying the government need to take the lead.
Okay. Mr. Samuels, as we wind down, we are 2 minutes away from closing our program. What advice or recommendations would you give to the motoring public in light of the pending increases?
I would say to the toll authorities, first of all, try to get volume rather than than price. Because once you increase the toll road again, prices, you are going to get less volume. And the road there, that beautiful highway is fully, grossly underutilized. So you can get more traffic on the road, and you won't need to have to increase the toll that often. And I'm glad now that they have woken up to see that, okay, we need some more entrance points, because housing and the population has shifted in that direction. So therefore, we can open up some of these places to get more volume on the road, so that you don't have to increase the prices. But as it is now, if you keep on like that with the underutilized road, then you're going to have to increase the prices that often, because you don't have that enough revenue coming into the system to what you want to make it profitable. So therefore, increase. As I said, that I'm happy to see that there's going to be increased points where the entry and exit can be made. So that will probably help in the long run, but not for the next couple of months.
Okay, got to leave it there. Want to
we have a lot more to say, but then we have to leave it.
Yeah, man. Thanks both of you for joining us. Have a productive day and stay safe.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and thanks.
All right. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. For information, how to get COPS program, call our production department at 876-968-9596-7. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Miss Kathy Gale, and our guests. I am Dylan Toussaint, handing you back to Love in the Morning with Siobhan Blair.
This is Love 101, the family station's now 8 o'clock, and it's time for the program Forward in Faith.